Hello everyone, welcome to our show today. We are Group 10 and in this episode, let's visit Japan and Vietnam to have a look at their cultural values. And from that, we hope that you guys can expand your cultural knowledge and learn something interesting in the end. But before that, let's find out what we're gonna talk about in this amazing show. To begin with, let's start with a question. What usually comes to our mind when it comes to cultures or cultural values? Aha! There are the symbols, traditions, or the norms, right? Let's pick an example. The national flower of Japan is chrysanthemum, and for Vietnam is lotus. So, when we compare these symbols, what can we point out? I bet that each symbol for each nation has their own meanings, according to the belief of each country. However, we can hardly see the differences between them and their reflection of the culture, right? Since these iconic cultural symbols only belong to the surface, which do not imply the values for each culture. Therefore, we choose to explore Japan and Vietnam cultures in another way, that is by the Geert Hofstede framework. So, who is Hofstede? He is a Dutch social psychologist, and his framework about cultural dimensions initially took place in the 1960s. The first four basic dimensions are collectivism and individualism, power distance, femininity and masculinity, and the last one is uncertainty avoidance. The last two dimensions, which are long-term and short-term orientation and indulgence, were found later. However, this time we only explore the first four dimensions. Through the time, Geert Hofstede framework has proved its efficiency by showing the underlying cultural values through analysis, which are illustrated by figures. Later on, our members will show you guys the value number for each dimension of the two countries. And don't miss out our group performances because we have some short plays to demonstrate vividly what is going on through the lenses of culture between two nations. Are you ready now? Let's enjoy our show right away. Itadakimasu.
So, how was the school today?
It's worked pretty great. This week I will have a field trip.
Okay, I'll make bento for you.
Thank you, Mom. I'm Phương. Go to show some other stuff.
Come on, it's dinner time.
Is the food ready yet? Wow, let's have the meal together.
So yummy!
So tell me, did you have fun today?
Yes, Mom. But you know what? Look, he confessed in love with his last mate, but he got rejected.
Hey, sip your mom. It's silently.
Oh, sorry.
You're nothing like me. She already accepted me just at the first time.
Hey, you know what? I rejected you 3 times.
Honey, keep eating.
Hello everyone, I'm Như Quỳnh. I'm gonna explain about individualism and collectivism in Japanese and Vietnamese culture. So about individualism. Individualism is philosophical and social perspective that play important on the autonomy, rights, and freedom of individuals. About the collectivism is the tendency on the individual and societal level to view oneself as interdependent and a member of a group rather than an independent being. According to the comparison chart of cultural dimension between Japan and Vietnam, at the individualism IDV, we clearly see that both Japanese and Vietnamese culture are not too high. It proves that Vietnamese and Japanese people from birth have been forced to integrate into a larger community. However, there are still different cultures between two countries. Japanese IDV is higher than Vietnamese, showing a tendency to have less family ties. Meanwhile, Vietnamese people give higher priority to family, friends, relatives, especially gathering. In Japan setting, the IDV index is 46 or more neutral compared to the direction of individualism. Looking back, the role plays in Japanese family meal attitude. People are quite polite, formal to each other. The family tree is divided into equal parts of family members. Japanese refrain from pick up food for each other during meal. Besides, they have the hierarchical division, and they also do honorific to each other. In Vietnamese setting, the IDV index is 20, almost half less than Japan, and lies entirely on the collectivism dimension. Looking back at the role plays during a meal of Vietnamese family, the members openly chat with each other, enthusiastically asking about daily problems. Family members are closer and less distant. They interact with pick up food for each other. Attitude of members that they have friends and cohesion between members. Hello everyone, we are here to discuss the possible solution for our company financial problem.
So, Hasako Sacho, from my observation, some departments in our company are working inefficiently. It may come from external or internal reasons, but first I think that we should listen to our staff opinion to figure out if there were any problems that I could witness.
Notice by may I raise my opinion?
Go ahead.
Hanako Sacho, although I just have 1 year of experience, but I have observed and experienced a lack of job satisfaction in my department.
Oh, that may be the reason. So, can you elaborate on that and give your suggestion?
The employee part of a pocket is not so compatible with the heavy workload we have to shoulder, so I suggest that our company should adjust the policy related to the benefits and perks for employees to boost their job satisfaction and increase our company profits.
I highly appreciate when you tell me the truth, and now I could consider that.
I cannot believe our company profits have dropped that much percentage. Can anyone explain this one?
This might be my fault when I didn't encourage our staff to work hard enough to boost our company profit.
I have a... Hey, what's the matter?
Are you crazy or something?
What?
Why didn't you raise your voice in a meeting like that?
But what's wrong with us? I just want to give my opinion and help the company improve.
But not in that direct way. You want to make your boss lose face, huh?
Of course not.
Okay,
So mark my words, whenever you notice the problem and you have proposal, you need to share with me first, and I would be the one who reported to your boss, okay? Understand?
Okay, I got it.
Hello everyone, I am Tuấn. I'm here to give you a further explanation about the power distance in Japanese and Vietnamese cultures. So what is power distance? Power distance refers to the unequal distribution of power between parties at the level of acceptance of that inequality, whether it is in the family, workplace, or other organization. According to the comparison chart of the cultural dimension between Japan and Vietnam, at the PDI, Power Distance Index, we clearly see that both Japanese and Vietnamese culture gravitate toward the high PDI sign, indicating that both cultures share the similarity in power distance. However, with the different figures, these cultures have slightly differed at some points. In Vietnam setting, the Power Distance Index is 70, which is pretty high. Recalling back to the role-play, we can see there is a huge gap between the director and his subordinate. The boss went irritating before he listened to his employee opinions, and the staff, at the same time, didn't have the chance to speak during the general meeting. They have to speak to that manager, and then the manager would report that to the director. So it clearly shows the hierarchy in the workplace in Vietnam. In Japan setting, the Power Distance Index is 54, which is close to the neutral index of 50. So this culture have nearly reached the ideal power distance index. Looking back at the role-play, the director and her subordinates use honorifics all the time, showing respect among the workplace. But with different positions, Japanese people would have different honorifics, indicating that there is still hierarchy within the community. Unlike in the Vietnam setting, when there was a serious problem in the company, the Japanese managers still suggested listening to their staff opinion first to figure out the problems, and the lower position in the firm still had the right to speak during the meeting, and their voices was appreciated if their opinions contributed directly to the productivity of the company.
I really don't understand. This is already the third time you let this happen, right? Miyamura-san, I don't think you're suitable with this job anymore. This project will be led by another one, so from tomorrow, you don't need to go to work anymore. Go away.
本当にすみませんございます。
おかえりなさい。
ただいま。
Why did you come home so late? Is there anything wrong?
I'm just working overtime. Nothing to worry about.
Hey, you forgot your bag.
Oh, thanks. いただきま
いっ
す。
てらっしゃい。
So, what's wrong, miss?
Okay, this was so easy, and this is all you got?
But I already tried my best and I only got 2 hours to get it done. I think I could do it better if I got more time, miss.
Okay, just stop it. I don't think you have the ability to do this.
Oh, please, can't you just give me one more chance?
I say, stop it. Okay, listen. You are fired. Go away.
I'm home.
Welcome home. How was your day?
Nothing much.
Are you okay? happy that something happened.
I just lost my job. I'm so sorry, babe.
Oh, darling, let me take you some drink.
Thanks. You know, if I hadn't made that mistake, the boss wouldn't fire me. Now everything is my fault. I'm our financial burden now. I'm not a good husband. I'm so sorry.
Oh, honey, that's okay. Don't worry too much. We can find a way to overcome this time. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. You can share with me, because we are family, right? Tomorrow I decide that I will also find a job, so we can earn money together.
Oh, thanks, babe. I'm so glad that I have you as my family.
Hello everyone, my name is Ngân and I will explain the masculinity and femininity part. First of all, let's find out what are masculinity and femininity. According to Hart's definition, we know that masculinity stands for a society in which social gender roles are clearly distinct. Men are supposed to be assertive, tough, and focused on material success. Women are supposed to be more modest, tender, and concerned with the quality of life. And femininity stands for a society in which social gender roles overlap. Both men and women are supposed to be modest, tender, and concerned with the quality of life. Combining the destinations and what our group has researched, I want to confirm that Japan is one of the most masculine societies in the world with 95%. In comparison, Vietnam is classified as a feminine country with 40%. Why so? I will explain the Japanese situation first. In Japan, a high masculine score suggests that the country tends to be gender inequality. In particular, men traditionally tend to dominate most family and social power systems as well as be responsible for the family's primary source of income, while women are responsible for taking care of the house and family. Gender inequality is generally recognized in society while demonstrating the prominent traits of patriarchy, assertiveness, and courage. Recalling back to the role play, we can see that due to his high ego, the husband chose not to tell his wife about being fine. He pretended nothing had happened and went to work the next morning as usual. But in reality, he spent the entire day lounging around in the park till he got off work and went home normally. He declared that he does not want to lose face with his family or be a man who fails in this society. So what about in Vietnamese situation? As I mentioned before, Vietnam takes 40% and is considered a feminine society. In this society, women are treated equally with men in all respects. People in feminine countries value equality, solidarity, and quality in their lives and focus on happiness and enjoyment in their relationships. Through the Vietnamese context, we can see that the husband was unemployed, but in Vietnam, he decided to share with his wife and work together to find a solution. This also emphasizes the equality of men and women in family life. At the same time, it is stated that feminine cultures, there would be a greater emphasis on care, well-being, quality of life, relationships, and interdependence.
Hi, I'm Huyền, and I'm here to help you understand the next part is uncertainty avoidance. So, uncertainty avoidance refers to the extent to which members of a culture do not mind conflicts or uncertain situations, and also the way they try to avoid those uncertain situations. Of course, there is a big difference between the uncertainty avoidance score of Japan and Vietnam. So we will come to the first example of how Japanese people built their earthquake-resistant buildings.
Given the regularity of earthquakes in Japan, all houses are built to withstand some level of tremor. Houses in Japan are built to comply with rigorous earthquake-proof standards that have been set by law. These laws also apply to other structures like schools and office buildings. It is said that around 87% of the buildings in Tokyo are able to withstand earthquakes. Many structures are built to become a little more flexible if hit by tremor, and some structures are built on Teflon, which allows buildings to move with the shock, while still others feature inflated rubber or fluid-filled bases which can absorb shock. Tokyo's famous skytree was built to withstand natural disaster by mimicking the shape of ancient wooden pagodas, which have survived through centuries of earthquakes.
Japan has a high score of 92 on the uncertainty avoidance dimension, according to half-step cultural dimension theory. This means that Japanese society has a strong reference for avoiding uncertainty and ambiguity. This is reflected in the country's strict building codes and earthquake-proof standards that the clip mentioned. And by having these rigorous standards in place, Japan is able to reduce the uncertainty and potential risk associated with earthquakes. The fact that many buildings in Japan are built to withstand earthquakes and other natural disasters is an example of how the country's high uncertainty avoidance is reflected in its approach to risk management. So how about Vietnam? I have mentioned that there is a big difference between Japan and Vietnam, and we will understand it more by watching the next video.
Đây là nhà phao nằm ngay bên cạnh nhà chính để tránh lũ của người dân Tân Hóa, một vùng được xem là rốn lũ của tỉnh Quảng Bình. Mỗi khi lũ đến, cả xã đều bị ngập đến nóc nhà. Song cái khó ló cái khôn, nhiều hộ dân ở xã Tân Hóa, huyện Minh Hóa đã áp dụng một sáng kiến có thể giúp người dân nơi đây sống an toàn khi lũ đến. Cũng nhờ sáng kiến này, trong những đợt lũ vừa qua, người dân Tân Hóa đã hạn chế được đến mức thấp nhất các thiệt hại, đảm bảo an toàn tính mạng và tài sản. Nhà phao là cách gọi dân dã của người dân địa phương, nhưng thực tế đây là một ngôi nhà được thiết kế đặc biệt để sống chung với lũ. Phần móng và sàn nhà được làm bằng gỗ, bên dưới có gắn những chiếc thùng phi rỗng. Và phần quan trọng nhất là hai chiếc cột ở hai bên nhà. Hai cột này thường làm bằng gỗ, dựng kiên cố, cao khoảng 5 đến 7 mét, hoạt động như hai thanh ray giúp ngôi nhà trượt lên xuống theo mức nước lũ. Nước dâng tới mức nào thì nhà tự động nổi lên tới đó.
The floating house the clip mentioned is an example of how people in Tân Hóa, a flood-prone area in Quảng Bình province, have adapted to living with floods. This innovative solution has helped the local residents minimize damage and ensure the safety of their lives and property during floods. This can be related to Vietnam's low score of 30 on the uncertainty avoidance dimension, according to half-step cultural dimension theory. This means that Vietnamese society is relatively relaxed about facing the unknown and believes that there should be no more rules than necessary. In this context, the floating house can be seen as a practical and flexible solution to the uncertainty and risk associated with floods. Instead of trying to prevent or control floods, which may be difficult or impossible, people in Tân Hóa have found a way to live with them and minimize the impact.
Alright, it's me again. After watching all the clips as well as their explanations, I guess that we'll learn something new, or at least have some thoughts about the cultures right now, isn't it? It is really fun and exciting to explore and immerse ourselves into the culture of each country. However, the most important value that we want to bring to you guys today is the message about culture. Despite the fact that Japanese and Vietnamese enjoy their cultural values differently, is it right to judge about that and have discrimination in some cases? I believe the answer is no, right? Each country has its own lifestyles and beliefs, which together form a part of their cultures. Therefore, we should respect every cultural identity in the world, including ourselves, because we believe that each culture is a star, and together they light up the whole universe with diverse cultural beauties. That's all for now. Thanks for listening and see you guys in the next episode.